Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to Sam and Max Hit the Books. I'm Max.
I'm Sam.
And we're here to review the comics that came out on July 17th of 2019. Not all of them, of course, just the ones that I cared to buy.
Right. There's like 10 of them, I believe, that we're going to talk about.
We got 10 books this week, and I'm pleased to report that the vast majority of them are at least above average.
Right. This feels a bit more on track with a lot of them.
I was really having a good time this week. And I want to start out with what I thought was the big surprise of the week, which was the first issue of Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen by Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber. I picked this one up pretty much just because we had a good time with that bit in the Leviathan special.
Right, with the vomiting blood cat.
And that is the saddest thing to report here, is that unfortunately Dexter is not a member of the cast so far.
I was hoping, but yeah, he's not there yet.
We started out with this great couple of pages about the history of the Olsen family in Metropolis and how they're sort of like the down-to-earth land-owning rivals of the Luthers once the Luthers rolled into town with their oil money. Yeah. And it was all pretty funny, like the intro with the old Olsen, Joachim? Yeah. Olsen with two S's, like, he goes over the waterfall. This is interesting because this comic was essentially 5 short stories.
Yeah, basically it was.
Which was pretty cool. We immediately get a reference to the classic Turtle Boy issue of Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen, as Jimmy is turned into a mutant turtle during a skydiving experiment.
Yeah, I believe he was supposed to transform, but differently.
The transformation is part of an experiment, but he's jumping out of the shuttle for the same reason that, like, Prodigy was doing it, because, like, his fans were like, it would be cool if you did this.
Right, without a parachute.
Right, without a parachute. So the experiment is going to get him to Earth without dying. Of course, Superman has to come bail him out, because that's what Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen comics should be.
Right.
Jimmy doing things that are far too dangerous for somebody to be doing, and Superman coming and bailing him out. I want to ask you, though, what you thought of one particular moment in the comic, after Jimmy has been chewed out and then subsequently restored to the love of Perry, before and after Perry realizes how much money Jimmy is both costing and making the Daily Planet.
Right.
What did you think of the bit where Clark winked at us, the reader, and then turned to the next page?
And he's still winking.
And it's sort of like off to the side. And the editor, or the publisher, is like, man, Clark's a weirdo. Because I loved it.
Yeah, no, I did particularly. I didn't know you were going to bring it up, but yeah, I was hoping you would. Because, yeah, just when you turn the page, and he's still just, like, winking, like, into the distance. It's adorable.
It's wonderful. At the end of the day, what a Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen comic should be, besides what I said earlier, is the book where it can be funny. Like, this is almost harkening back to the Silver Age Superman, who was like a little bit more of a jokester and a prankster.
Yeah, exactly. Which it's delightful.
But I liked that. I liked the hook where, Jimmy is super valuable to the Daily Planet because he connects with viral viewers and he gets the internet, and he's the only part of the ailing publication that actually makes them any money.
Right.
Which, that's a great spin on how the modern newspaper company stays in business so that Clark doesn't have to go get another job.
Yeah, exactly. And the twist at the end, because he costs so much money to Metropolis that they have to actually kick him out and move him to Gotham City.
And fake his death?
Yeah, well, we'll see what that's about.
Yeah, well, obviously we're leading into the mystery, but yeah, I am interested to see how him continuing to make money as a viral sensation is going to tie into him pretending to be dead. But anyway, it's wonderful. The illustrations are perfect for a book like this. Steve Lieber, as always, knocks it out of the park with the physical humor. I'm going to give this book a 7.
Yeah, I'd also give it a 7. It's surprising. And delightful.
There's a good Matt Fraction and there's a bad Matt Fraction. I know you haven't read anything by Matt Fraction before. I'm pretty confident at this point that this is going to be good Matt Fraction. We'll see. It's a 12-issue series, so We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see.
What's next?
We have an issue of the Orville, New Beginnings, part 1 of 2.
So only gonna get 2 of this, which is interesting.
An Orville comic book by David A. Goodman and David Cabeza. And, wasn't expecting this. And,
I believe the writer is a writer for the show.
Oh, well, that's even cooler, because I wondered when we had the mention of, like, past wars and stuff with aliens that we have not seen on the show.
Right, is that stuff going to be like canon?
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting that this is sort of like it feels like almost like an episode they thought about doing and didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like, and here's what happened in between, you know? 'Cause that's what it is. It's here's what happened in between season 1 and season 2.
And I gotta say, when the Doctor doesn't know that Topa is that big already, and like doesn't even believe it's possible at first, I was like, man, Doctor, you don't study anything before the problem actually happens, do you?
Well, that's true. But
there's multiple Mocklins on board, and they just brought a child on board, and she did not read shit.
Well, they might not have the information. Mocklins may not be so forthcoming. Then again,
she knows their dirty secrets, though.
Yeah, that's true.
So I feel like she might be interested.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Anyway, that's my one gripe.
Your one gripe.
Dr. Claire is a little bit
out of character.
Out of character. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
she would. I mean, it doesn't really negate anything in the show itself.
No.
Maybe just on TV, it feels more natural when the Doctor is surprised by things.
Maybe. Maybe because of the attitude.
Right, and the performance lends it like a believable quality versus when you're reading it on the page.
Right.
Although I gotta say, the likenesses of all the characters in this were better than the average Star Trek comic we've been reading.
Yes, that is true. Also, like the way they're drawn, it's less boxy.
Yeah, it's a
more
little
natural.
smooth, right? They don't have any kind of like, we're drawing a superhero comic pretensions, like where Picard is looking too muscular in Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. They just look right.
And it wouldn't be the Orville without some Ed and Kelly relationship drama.
Yeah, we get to see her meet Cassius. Cassius.
Is it Cassius? I think it's Cassius.
It's not Cassius?
I don't remember. He's such a milquetoast. Like, I did not care. Once I realized he wasn't coming back, it was like, boop.
I feel like it was weirder than just Cassius. But maybe I'm confusing it with something else.
But, yeah, no, it was a pretty good issue.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what will happen in the next issue.
Yeah, me too.
Who the hell shot at them? It wasn't these people, I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they would, but, maybe they've been using the cannon to shoot down other things,
They just shoot things and usually no one survives and they just go get their shit.
Get their shit, or maybe it's a large creature of some kind that they could eat. They're birds.
Right. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, very Jodorowsky, the bird creatures. And it's cool. I'm glad they're taking advantage of the comic format to do aliens and things that they wouldn't be able to quite pull off as good on screen. Like,
that's true.
I could totally see the reason they didn't do this episode is they didn't want to have to animate a village of penguins.
Right. Yeah, so overall, I found it to be pretty enjoyable.
I liked it.
I'd give it a 6.
I think 6 is right. Above average. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
We'll get the next one. 2 issues is
2 issues.
Not a big commitment.
Right.
Okay, moving on to issue 2 of Usagi Yojimbo by Stan Sakai, written and drawn, colored by Tom Luth. And this story didn't exactly go where I thought it was going to go, because I was pretty sure that the storyteller from the puppet play wasn't bad. I was sure that there was something evil about the puppets, but he was like being controlled in some way, which it could still actually turn out to be something like that. But right now, it seems like that dude's pretty evil.
Yeah.
I loved though just the intro, like the Long Samurai movie intro of the drunk older samurai walking home alone in the streets and being stalked and realizing that everybody coming after him looks real little.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, when they find the body, it's like they think he might have been attacked by children.
Right. All the damage is on the lower half of his body.
On the lower half. And Usagi's like, it's as if he's attacked by children. And the other dude, like the demon hunter guy, is like, or something worse. Usagi's like, more sinister than children. No, it's just good, solid Usagi Yojimbo with a slash of some occult weirdness as the puppeteer is getting younger and having his senses restored to him.
Yeah.
It's a good haunted doll monster story. We'll see.
Yeah, they never do draw the dude as like looking evil.
Not quite. At the most, he looks very scared, very intense.
Yeah.
But yeah, not straight up villainous. Really.
Not usually.
Yeah. So this is fine. It's a pretty good issue. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I think it's a 6.
Yeah, I think it's a 6 too.
Yep. The middle part of the arc.
Right. We'll see. It's really only like 3? Huh. Well, we're going to move on to Silver Surfer Black by Donny Cates and Tradmore. Trad. That's a cool first name, Trad.
I know, right? Double D's.
Boy, this is a pretty interesting comic, as it is part the Silver Surfer remembering his first encounter with the symbiotes when he went into that planet and found out that it was just a cage of their god, and he met Null for the first time.
Yeah, he scoped out Clintar while he was working for Galactus.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome in itself. And now
he knows why he was recognized when he showed up there.
Right. And he battles with Null for most of this issue.
So action-packed.
And it's great. I mean,
he gets symbioted up.
Yeah, and Null totally takes control of him, and now he is Null's herald. And that's just like, that's Silver Surfer's thing.
And I love how textured he looks compared to everything else. Like when they have the big, tall, full-page look at him fully covered by the symbiote. Like there's so many little details drawn in, which really contrasts with like the big, sweeping, wide lines that Moore has put into the other areas.
Right, and not to mention contrasting with Null himself, who's just like so white and gray and red and flat, and his hair is like boom all over the place. His hair is like the weirdest thing about him, man.
With his little side braids.
With his side braids. Yeah, just it's always doing weird, hilarious things in this issue.
It's we get symbiote or Sylvie fights the Grendel.
Yeah.
Null summons the Grendel and gives chase, and we get these pages where it's like 2-page spreads across the top and then panels along the bottom, and there's just so much speed. Like it feels so much like everything's moving. Surfer does this move where he like drags himself onto the side of like the wave that he's riding and pushes back against it. It's hard for me to describe. Like I don't know what you call that in surfing terminology, but like you never see him do that kind of thing really in the books. Like he's always cruising places straight, but the board feels very like more snowboardy almost, where he's really got all these like little movements that he's doing, and
it makes it seem very fast.
Everything is so fast.
Null's hair in this right here when he's riding the dragon behind him, though, and it's just like all poofed up behind him.
It makes no sense at all. The clumps it's arranged in.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
And Surfer has to use up his forearm to his shoulder's worth of silver in order to do a power blast strong enough to really burn the hell out of the Grendel.
Yeah, man. He has to get himself detached from the symbiote, and he has to burn the Grendel. I mean, he really gives it his all in this issue. And
I did not predict who it was that was talking to him. I really thought it was going to be Galactus from this time, who had recognized his presence and knew where he was and was summoning him to him.
Oh, interesting.
So when we got the page turn reveal, and it's the page reveal of Ego. Again, this is the other time in the issue where Moore uses this very dense, highly rendered texturing on an area instead of the big wide angles and colors, and it's like a page right out of the crazy 70s of Doctor Strange comics. It's one, and Ego, man. Ego. The bottom of the page with the eyeball inside the eye slit. And so weird. And you can then go to the big page and you're like, oh yeah, there's those lie balls floating in front.
Yeah.
It's this book, man, this book.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oof.
I'd give this an 8.
Yeah.
It's
that's a great score for this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Visually, it just does not get better. It's all action.
Yeah,
it's all action and like cool lore. And
right, and it's the stuff that we want to know about. You know, it's Null, it's Venom, it's Kreml, it's the symbiotes. It's great.
Right, because it's doubtful that absolute carnage is going to be the end of the Null thing. That's probably going to be more like a midpoint of the whole Venom run that I'm sure will conclude with some sort of like final struggle against Null himself. I'm sure that Carnage in this story, so we're not like building to the end yet. So it's nice to have this Silver Surfer story kind of like bringing Null back to the forefront in our minds and explaining a little bit more of his deal while we're going to have this. And
right.
It all
Carnage is going to take over the show for a little bit. That's cool.
And you know what? I would love the idea that when we do get to that final showdown, it's going to be like Venom and Miles Morales and Silver Surfer and that one dude in Guardians of the Galaxy who keeps mentioning Null. I don't remember who it is, but somebody keeps bringing him up.
Right.
It's good stuff. Okay, moving on to issue 21 of The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing. Art this time is handled not by our usual guy,
That's true.
Joe Bennett, but it's Ryan Bodenheim, who does a bang-up job, I thought.
Yeah, it was different, but it's not worse for what's going on.
Not at all. Yeah, it's nice that there's sort of like a flashbacky element to everything, so it kind of makes sense to have a different art take on it.
Right, exactly.
Only 4 more issues of Hulk after this so far.
Man.
Yeah, well, the story's got to be wrapping up. We'll see. Maybe they'll announce something to come after, but as it stands, it looks like issue 25 is going to be it.
Oh, well, that's going to be cool.
So this issue is the origin story of General Fordian.
Yes.
And like all of his motivations and who he was to Thaddeus Ross and how he saw his hero like turn to using giant armor suits and turning himself into a Hulk to fight the Hulk, and it seems like that, you know, it's kind of part of his thought process, and now he's going to turn himself into something because now he's the Abomination.
Well, maybe.
It sure looks like that's what he is, man. Like,
yeah, it does.
He goes down to the empty husk of the Abomination, and he touches it, and we get this great, like, super psychedelic, like, wormhole Abomination thing, grabbing him and sucking him in, and, yeah.
But will he be able to control it for long?
Yeah, how in control is he at all?
Yeah,
it
right.
remains to be seen. But, yeah, it's very interesting. Man, he killed a lot of people in this issue. And I know that people with Gamma come back is kind of our thing. And noticeably, he did call Walter, who supposedly has no Gamma left.
Right.
Kill Walter.
Yes, he did.
Killed Samson.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, no, this was rough. It really does feel like things are going to start to wrap up.
Oh, that's true.
This was pretty good. Not the best issue of Immortal Hulk by virtue of Hulk hardly being in it, honestly.
Right. That is, it's one problem.
I'm giving this one a 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. 7's good.
All right,
we're gonna be talking about Justice League issue number 28, Lex Luthor, Apex Predator by James Tynion IV and Jorge Fernandez. And
speaking of deaths,
this I thought was a pretty good issue. Martian Manhunter meeting with this new Luthor in his new strange body.
Scary vampire Luthor.
Yeah, and Luthor's pretty fun in this issue, which is cool. You know, the Justice League, they look for the Anti-Monitor, but they can't really find him. It's
he gone.
It's too bad. But
he nodded his spot on Quard.
Yeah, we only really get a little bit of them this issue. It's mostly all about Luthor's plan.
Luthor in this one panel looking so maniacal.
Oh yeah, no, he's totally insane.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I do wonder how under Perpetua's control he actually is, because we did see her like overseeing the creation of this body
Right.
in that tube. So it's like, is he really controlling her, or is she already like kind of driving everything here?
Wow, it's hard to say.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, as anyone who's been reading this run knows, Luther is trying to turn himself into one of the merged between humans and Martians, which is like the strong people.
The original species that Perpetua designed to be her army against the beings that were going to come and destroy the multiverse.
Right. And that's pretty cool. It does seem like he pretty much succeeds in this. We get a great panel of John.
Mostly absorbed John.
Being, gross and on the ground in a puddle, kind of.
Yeah, Luther, man, he like super betrays him after a long conversation, and then like sucks up his body onto himself.
Yeah, no, it's real dark.
And I'm sure John isn't dead. I'm sure that it's going to be a thing where he's going to be like in Luther's mind now, and maybe Luther's going to fight back against Perpetua, and maybe John being in there is going to let him help his old friend Lex.
Right.
I'm sure it's going to build.
You'd think so, because he says like no part of who you are is going to be in me, just your strength and your body. And
we'll see.
I don't know about that.
So, do you think Luther was already wearing this green and purple outfit, and he just whipped off his robe, or do you think he turned John into these clothes like a symbiote?
Well, I think he was probably already wearing the thing in preparation.
Right. It is his like Lex Luthor colors. That is probably just his look.
Right. But I'd be cool with it if he was just using John as armor.
As a symbiote. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Things proceed apace.
Yeah, it seems like this is getting to where it needs to be. Hopefully coming to a head with
Doom
all this
War.
Perpetua.
We're getting to Doom War. Hopefully that's going to be the end of most of this meta plot. And he isn't trying to go for like 60 issues on this plot.
Right. I mean, we're already at 28. That's pretty long. Still, I'd give it a 7. I liked it a lot.
I think this is a 6 for me.
Cool.
Alright, moving on to Batman issue 75 by Tom King, Tony Daniel, and a little art in the back by Mitch Gerrits. This is going to be it. This is the last arc on Batman. I guess we're in for it. We're gonna read them all, and then it'll be done, and we'll be over this.
All right.
This issue, actually, it's weird how it can still not be good, but kind of be one of the best issues of Tom King's run.
Well, it's just so different that it's made interesting.
Some of Tony Daniel's art choices to me are crazy. Like, I don't know about his Joker, man. I don't know about that. And the way that Joker and Riddler are acting, I mean, Joker especially is a little buttoned down. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And, man, Harvey Dent. I've never seen such a, like, Japanese anime character version of Harley with that hair.
That is true. I mean, yeah, his human half. It seems pretty off.
Gotham Girl shows up and spews out a page of some of the most annoying dialogue that you could ever imagine reading.
True.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Bruce Wayne, I mean, I guess he is broken because he allows himself to get cut in the neck by not an expert assassin.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, essentially, there's a new Gotham City. Bane has installed a new order. He took Lex's offer, which was to make it so the government won't interfere with Gotham, and we'll just let the villains take over and do whatever they want to do. Hugo Strange is the commissioner now.
Yep.
And Thomas Wayne is Batman. I guess I should mention that. That is the main thing of this issue.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. The whole end is just the long conversation between Luther and Bane explaining the gift. We do get to see Pig like terrorizing somebody on the street.
Yeah.
And Hush and Zaz and just all the worst elements of Gotham are like the cops and firemen, like Firefly There's a fireman down, burning everything.
Yeah.
Poor Harvey, though.
Dark.
Being used as a human dartboard. And, yeah, they're really getting him.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. It's weird, because there is stuff in there to like. There is interesting stuff happening.
Right, it's interesting is the thing.
But it's hard to really like the story about the farmer and his son. It's like King can't help himself.
It's true.
He has to put something down on the page. He has to.
Yeah, it's true. What was even the point of that story? Never mind, I don't care.
I'm giving it a 4 because I didn't hate the art and it's a little better than the other issues.
Yeah, I'd also give it a 4 for the same reasons.
Moving on,
we got Transformers issue 9 by Brian Ruckley, art by Angel Hernandez and Anna Malkova.
Good art in this issue.
Good art in this issue, and a little
Stuff
bit
is happening.
action. Yeah, a little bit of stuff is happening. And, yeah, that's good. We follow Chromie around for a lot of this issue, along with a couple of other ones as they storm the base of, what's the name of the
Ascenticons.
Is it the Ascenticons? They were calling them something else.
Oh, well, right. Are these exactly the Ascenticons, or this is Six Shots group?
Right,
Yeah.
six shots group.
Whatever they're... But I think there are just the Ascenticons.
Right, I'm sure they're linked.
And it's weird because
it seems like they think they're going after somebody other than the Ascenticons.
Every other time Six Shot has ever shown up in a Transformers continuity, he's one of, like, the 10 out of 10s. He's like, remember Rampage? Was that the big invincible crowd from Beast Wars? Ravage. No, Ravage is the black cat.
The invincible one?
Yeah, Depth Charge's mortal foe.
Right.
Anyway, there's always, like, a guy like that. A Phase Sixer is what they were called in the previous... Like, Six Shot is supposed to be one of the baddest of the bad, and he's like
he's not
a random flunky in this.
Yeah, he's not depicted that way in this one.
Yeah, boring. What the hell? Six Shot. He sneaks up on Chromia and can't even get her. Like, Six Shot is like a horror character usually when he shows up.
Man, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I didn't love that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I do like the super ones, the invincible ones. They're usually pretty crazy.
Exactly. So, plot's happening. Windblade got hurt. I'm sure she'll be fine. Everybody loves Windblade.
Right, yeah. People got hurt. Bumblebee's still trying to join the Ascenticons. This other security buddy of his...
Barricade.
Yeah, he gets in right away where Bumblebee has to go through all this shit.
Well, Bumblebee fucked up. Barricade's black and purple, so of course he was going to get fast-tracked.
Well, yeah. With the red eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, what were you thinking, Bumblebee? Wipe off that gold. You're Blacklebee now.
Blacklebee. Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. Not bad. Pretty good. Action is starting to happen.
Starting to happen at issue 9.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
I can't believe it's issue 9. This is like issue 3 shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when we looked back on something in this issue, and the caption's like, see issue 4, and I'm like, man, that was all the way back in issue 4. I thought that must have been like issue 2.
I know.
That shit happened.
Also, Sentinel Prime is on the cover of this comic book.
And
the last issue was like, Sentinel Prime is coming. And this issue, I mean, Sentinel Prime ain't in it, Optimus ain't in it.
No, they ain't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I give it a 6.
I'm giving it a 5. Wasn't as good as Usagi Yojimbo.
That's true.
Alright, moving on to Chapter 5 of Little Bird by Darcy Van Polgeest and drawn by Ian Bertram.
Final chapter.
The final chapter, except not really, and I suspect that's where the problems enter. Because, the art is still good. I still enjoyed this ending, but Sam, let me tell you, if you needed me to explain what happened in this issue, like on a bullet-pointed list, I could not tell you.
I'm feeling the same way.
What sucked everybody out during the final battle?
I'm not exactly sure where they were during the final battle because
they were in the room where the children were being educated.
This ball place. And there's a lot of like sphere shots from like outside of places
right.
going on, which really quite confused me.
It does seem like they rode in on this purple sphere ship and ran off and started the battle, and then the sphere ship turned into like a black hole.
Right, and they have like little black hole ships as well that a bunch of people are like running into at times and flying places.
And like I assumed that the main bad guy had died during that, but then he shows up again during the epilogue. I guess it's kind of an epilogue where, like, I guess the war didn't actually end. Like, not much really changed. Like, they freed one particular area, but
yeah, it seems like everything like was still going on normal.
But is Little Bird like now using the church for her ends in some way?
Seems like maybe because she's having the talk with old grandma and Sphere.
Right, who is presented in this issue as sort of being a positive figure, weirdly. And then you get to the end page and they're like, well, originally this was a mini, but now there's going to be another series coming up to continue the story. And I really do wonder if there was going to be a different ending here that maybe would have wrapped things up a little more clearly.
Right.
And they instead decided, let's rewrite the last 5 pages and now do another series. And I don't know how... I mean, I'm making that up totally. Like, it's pure conjecture. I have no idea if that's actually what happened here. But it would kind of explain how weird and unfocused this ending got.
Yeah, it did seem very unfocused. Basically, all I got out of it really was she killed her dad.
She killed her dad. And what was the flashback with the axe meant to tell us?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I didn't do this comic the credit of, reading it closely enough. But is it really my fault? Is it really my fault, people, listeners? You tell me in the comments.
It was hard to tell. Sometimes I was reading the panels twice, going back a page to see if I understood what was going on.
Yeah, I was flipping back too, and I think this issue more than any others, the sort of sameness that a lot of characters were drawn in became a detriment. Like it wasn't super easy to tell who a character was if you couldn't see what they were wearing. So on any of like the zoom in on a face shots, you were kind of like, okay, who's this yelling?
That is true.
I got to give this one a 5. It didn't hit me the way that I really wanted it to close out this series, which overall was pretty entertaining.
It was overall pretty entertaining. I'd give it a 4.
Take us home.
Last, we have issue 10 of X-Force, the final issue by Ed Bryson and Dylan Burnett. And yeah, this was an ending. I mean,
exactly.
By this time they'd already gotten Cable out of prison and everything and taken over for the most part. Right. Just one final little battle left to do. They win pretty handily. Just
got to calm down Rachel, and Cable's got that technorganic virus under control in both himself and his companion woman, whose name I never really learned. Boom Boom's always entertaining. I thought that she was sort of a highlight of the issue.
Right, yeah, she was good. Definitely blowing stuff up. There was some
what she does.
Some fighting. There was some talking. And some traveling back in time, after accepting Nathan Dayspring as Cable after all.
Yeah, exactly. We had a nice little end of the episode wrap up as was it Shatterstar? He's like, I do believe it.
Yeah, it was Shatterstar.
Yeah, like I know before we gave you a hard time, man. I mean, you killed yourself, but I guess you're pretty cool.
Right. So it's okay. They're all buddies there. They walk into the portal and off into adventure.
And none of it will matter because House of X starts next week, and no X-Men comic for the last 5 years is going to make a difference.
Ah, my goodness. They're always doing that to X-Men.
They are, but this time it's going to work.
Yeah, so I'd give it a 6.
I'm giving it a 5. I thought it was whatever. The art was pretty good. I did enjoy Dylan Burnett on this issue. It is fun when he draws the technorganic virus all out of control.
Oh, yeah, that is fun.
And it's got this nice sort of stylistic cartooniness to it that had a lot of good energy. It was nice and action-packed.
That's true.
So yeah, not bad. But not super sorry to see it go, honestly.
Yeah, it was all pretty formulaic.
Yeah.
In its execution.
Yeah, and a little weird.
A little weird, yeah.
All right, so that was it. We made it. A bit of a long episode, but if you listened this far, we thank you very, very much. Consider leaving us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought about what we thought. And we will be back next week with even more comic reviews.
Cowabunga.